So perspectives are actually very interesting because they come in a ton of shapes. Even after recording that, I went into Lowe's and there was, as I was getting out of, oops, go ahead. Are you turning? All right. As I was like, when you think somebody is slow and you get annoyed, and then you go and you get a little further and you realize there's something in the road that they were slowing down for, or like I've told Michael, um, because Laverne and I would deliver cakes, and we had the horrible, horrible, well, actually, the very first cake we ever transported with Laverne was our wedding cake, and that fell over in the trunk. But then she's making them and she's delivering them. And I remember going to that place in Ybor City, and the wedding cake it's a stacked, huge stack, but it had jelly between the layers. So it was already heavy. And then she thought it would save time to actually transport at least the bottom two layers already stacked and decorated. And oh my God, it was horrible. It was horrible. We got it. She tried to save it outside of the courtyard in Ybor on the brick roads, and we can hear the laughter and the stuff going on the other side of the outdoor, garden area that's going to hold this event. And it was madness. It was absolutely madness, like to try to go and fix that problem, which never got fixed. But the run problem solved, and we came up with get sheet cakes from Publix, and she'll rip off the icing, and she'll ice them with hers and their colors, and yada 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 yada. And at least I'll have cake to serve, and then the top was salvageable. So in the end, the people were super super forgiving, and they actually had gotten married in Europe or something like a month before. So this was sort of more like a celebration of their. So it wasn't part of an event per se. So it turned out to be where it was not the horrible nightmare it could have been. But I'll tell you, every time from that day forward, I drove a cake in the back, or I drove like a old lady on Sunday. And that's what I tell Michael is when we get behind somebody who is like, he's like, what's the deal? And he gets annoyed, or myself, I'll say, maybe there's a wedding cake in the back seat. And I'm like, totally, totally understand that there's going to be circumstances, and it's all a matter of perspective. Oh, shit. All right, all right. All right, well, we're going right, left. All right. So the things that I want to reflect on this week, should I put them in any form for you guys to digest as family related to perspective, it's going to be about things I've learned from seeing things from your perspective, or seeing you learn from a different perspective that has been fun and interesting, or sometimes painful. So I don't really have a plan for it, but I do like the idea of reflecting on all that and then putting it into some format where you guys can read it or listen to it. All right. Well, perspectives are everywhere. The way we look at things, why we look at them the way we look at them. The other thing is I notice this perspectives impact expectations. Depending on what angle you're looking at it, depends on what you might expect should happen or could happen or should not happen. So sometimes in order to help us have better expectations, we need to look at things from a different perspective. Like the driver who's going slow. Maybe there's something way more at play than just purely they sort of set out today to make my personal world a little less enjoyable. Perspectives.